You guys ready to get started? We excited?
Yes.
Best panel of the day. My name is Deanna Marzillo. I'm the VP of Sales at RhythmInfluence. I oversee West and Central in the United States, and I'm really excited to talk about brand fandom today. Specifically, we've got two people on the panel that work together in a very close capacity. So if everyone can give a little intro, and then we'll start with Luis and Micky, and they'll talk about their relationship with Tree Hut.
You want me to start? All right. So my agency, Bakery, out of Austin, Texas, we are the agency of record for Tree Hut, as well as a bunch of other cool brands that honestly could not live without, culture being used as a catalyst moving forward on anything and everything that they do. But Tree Hut could not be more of an example of that. And it's super cool what we're attempting to do right now, which is to steward the new kind of future for that brand. But
Luis Garcia, Chief Marketing Officer for Naterra. One of our brands is Tree Hut. It's a pleasure to meet everybody. You might never heard about Tree Hut unless you have young daughters or sons. That's the only way you know about it. And then that's how you know it's a cult-ish, because you don't know about it, but your kids know about it. So we're happy to talk about it.
Awesome. No, I know. I have a 9 and 11-year-old nieces, and we're at Target a lot. I hear of when the new scents are coming out. The brand is absolutely viral, and I believe we have a video that we're going to show showing the virality of that brand, Tree Hut.
Come with me to try Tree Hut, the viral sugar scrub.
Love Tree Hut and Tree Hut scrub.
Addiction is real, honey. I can't do it. When the new Tree Hut scrub comes out, I got to go. I got to go smell it.
Yes! Oh my God, I'm literally having the best day ever.
This is the key to smelling good.
Yes.
Ooh, it smells super clean and super fruity.
Ooh, yeah. I like that one.
Literally smells so curly. Ooh, it's sparkly.
Spectacular. Give me 14 of them right now.
Really?
Okay, that's impressive.
Like, I'm literally about to go take a
Those
shower.
metrics are really impressive. So I'd love to hear a little bit about, when all of the fandom really started to take off and you saw the brand just skyrocket in terms of its social excitement. How did you react? I mean, that's awesome.
This is a brand that went from 40 million to 400 million in 4 years. So it coincided with the rise of TikTok. So we started in TikTok, but we didn't just jump on TikTok to be on TikTok. We started really listening to our community, and that's how we co-created to be what it is. A lot of brands jump on TikTok, chase the trend, and that's just having the wrong approach. You really need to look at your community. You really need to listen to your community, and then you can start somewhere.
Absolutely. AP, I feel like you can weigh in on this a little bit. Tell us, why don't you reintroduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how Sprite is specifically leaning into culture and social trends.
Yeah, for sure. There we go. AP Chaney, Senior Director, Creative. And work on Sprite and Fanta and a host of wonderful other brands. But so Sprite honestly was a late adapter to TikTok. And so one of the reasons why is because, one, we wanted to do it right. But then we were kind of thrown into the trenches of TikTok. If you all know, last year, people were dipping tea bags into Sprite.
I know.
And it went very viral. And so from there, we actually bottled the beverage. So we just came out with Sprite Plus Tea about 2 weeks ago. It's delicious. If you haven't tried it, please do. Also, it helps my bottom line. But with that being said, we really looked and listened to our consumers and found the right moment. And when we released it, we went to those creators, gave them that Sprite Plus Tea, listened to their feedback, and they're really enjoying it, and it's doing way above than what we could have imagined. So
that's
exciting.
Absolutely incredible. We'll open it up to the entire group, but I've got some questions. I guess, what truly defines a super fan today? If each of you kind of want to give your POV. Jeremy?
Thank you for letting me share. I was kidding, Deanna, when I said I was least interesting, and they didn't even give me
The
the
most
microphone.
interesting man in the room.
Hey, everybody. So, Jeremy Steinberg, I'm Chief Revenue Officer at Fandom. I don't know how many people are familiar with Fandom, but you probably use the platform at least once a week, if not every day of your lives. We're basically the largest platform for entertainment and gaming globally. We reach 350 million people every month, and they traverse 300,000 different communities of every movie, TV show, and video game on the planet. And so we've actually built basically the largest AI-powered ad platform, which is helping marketers connect to what's trending and the moments that really matter. And I think what you all said was really astute, which is there are trends all the time that marketers try to capitalize on, and just being there doesn't work. It really doesn't. You have to find ways, especially with Gen Z audience, and we have a very large Gen Z audience, you have to find ways to really connect to Gen Z audience in ways. So we always think of a world in moments. And so, for example, I'm sure everyone knew this, but Mortal Kombat 2 is coming out.
Woo!
Okay, it's going to be really big, okay? But Gen Z really care about nostalgia. That's a big trend. And they care about action-adventure. And so those two things collide with something like a Mortal Kombat. And so you have to, as a marketer, you have to think about, okay, well, how do I then leverage that insight? And how do I come up with a unique program that can help a consumer who's maybe playing intensely in a game take a break and maybe have a Sprite with tea or a Fanta or something like that? And that to me is what credible marketers really need to do when they think about community and think about leveraging fandom.
That's awesome. Luis, tell us a little bit about, I guess, when trends happen in real time, and Micky, please weigh in too, how are you acting so quickly on those social trends? Because that is a very difficult task, and I personally hear it a lot from my brands that I work with. I feel like it's a secret sauce. So can you tell us what the secret is?
It is a little bit of cojones. I call it like that. I come from big school marketing, right? Like L'Oreal, Beiersdorf, like big brands, and they just don't move fast enough, right? And then you need to have that ability to let your team do what they're good at quickly. And you just gotta believe, and sometimes it works, sometimes it gets a little dicey. Sometimes you gotta then talk to the creators and apologize. Sometimes you make mistakes. There's a few times. But you just gotta go with it. Go quickly and go hard and jump on it. Other than that, it will not work. As long as this is authentic to your brand, that will make sense.
Yeah, there's a few things to that, right? So the first thing would be, if you're running a brand, right, the number one thing is to allow for error or failure, if you want to call it that, right? You really have to almost like dare your team, your partners, your agencies, like, hey, go out there and fuck up, you know, like, like, let's move fast from it, right? That's the environment where you're going to strike gold in. If you're being safe about everything, it's the number one way that no one's going to see anything or care about anything that you're doing. The other thing is, I don't think that we, in general, as an agency, bakery itself, but definitely with Tree Hut also, we aren't actually chasing too many of these trends regularly. We're trying to create our own, and that's honestly the way that you can move fastest than anybody, is that you made the trend, right? So, for example, yes, we do like the get ready with me stuff, you know, as sort of our always on kind of baseline stuff, but we're constantly creating new things. You know, whether it's like right now, this is funny, but to Gen Z and Gen Alpha, Goop, which everyone probably here knows as a massive corporation owned by Gwyneth Paltrow, Gen Alpha does not. To them, we're Goop. Like, the Goop is the Tree Hut product when you pull it out of the jar, and they've named it that, and we've inherited that into our own company as like, well, we gotta call it Goop. What if Gwyneth Paltrow sues us? I don't know, but I think a court would have to say, I think you both own this. This is weird. Like, you know, so it's sort of a situation where you what you were talking about, you have to allow these communities to inform your brand and not you be sort of like the, hey, I went to Harvard, I did this thing, and like I joined this brand, 6 months ago, and I'm going to tell everyone how things work. I don't think that brand of marketing leadership works at this point, and that's what I think we're doing well is an environment that allows for mistakes, and an environment to go out there and like do something different and weird and new. And hey, if it works, amazing. Let's go with it. If it doesn't, let's go to the next thing. And honestly, I don't know how else to move in this market right now.
APM, I'm curious, kind of tagging on to that. Like, so what are some of those common mistakes that we feel brands maybe make when they're trying to create fandom a little too hard? If you...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to tell my agencies to go fuck up because they're also in the room. And I also will call out some mistakes. But with that being said, I think, trying to manufacture a moment. I think that is very much part of what a brand should not do. And so one of the things, that I've learned from Marcus Collins and just my different professors and people that I work with, it's like you don't tap into the culture, right? Tapping in is not what you do. And the Sprite has very much been of the culture. And so we've been consistent. We've been nuanced for almost half a century in terms of who we're dedicated to in our target consumer, which is the African-American audience. And like, we don't move away from that. And so I think being consistent, specific, and nuanced is very much part of how you can avoid making any mistakes in terms of fandom or how you can relate to your consumer.
Right. I think authenticity too.
Yes,
like
100%.
You have to stay authentic
100%
to the brand. I know that's something that we, at least the brands that we work with, and even the creators that we work with, we tell them stay authentic. But consumers can sniff out the fake.
Yes,
I think you just tapped on it, and Marcus did as well. You guys are talking about something that's incredibly important, which is the heritage of a brand, and the reason why a lot of these brands seem to like live through a cycle and come back into, sort of like popularity and come back and always have this cult sort of following, it's because it's the same brand. It's something and they apply this like, hey, this brand's always been this, and they've always talked this same way, and they've had this language, and they've had this visual, and they've had this way of being. The product is the same. Like, I feel the same trust and love for the product because they can do it. What's tricky for us is a brand that's this new, right? Our job right now coming into a brand that kind of exploded is we have to build that heritage right now. See, you guys are coming into brands that have heritage from like, I don't even know, like when Coca-Cola had cocaine in it and stuff, which like probably sold itself, but but I'm saying like right now, so when a brand like this, a newer brand has to take off, the way we're thinking about it is not different to the way you guys are thinking about it. We're like, okay, we now have to write this sort of Bible now and be responsible for what's in it 200 years from now, whoever takes over the brand for us when we're not here, which is, I think, the right way to do it. And I hope I'm right. Again, he tells us to fuck up, so maybe I'm, but that's what we're trying to do is like lay that foundation and play that long game a little bit more, and don't just go for like quick win, because
100%.
like it's so cheap to do that, and the returns are cheap as well.
Yep.
I love all that because that's a really easy transition to my last and final question, which is, how do you prevent fandom fatigue? So, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but if you're just constantly churning and burning, how do you prevent that from happening with a brand?
I mean, you need to look at what's going out there, right? If you're looking at what's going out there and then you understand not the marketing tactic, but more the emotions and the why behind trends, then you're able to create something that will not find boring, right? If you are putting out content and working with the right creators that are really bringing in the whys of how your full audience feels like that, there's no challenge on boring them. If I'm trying too hard, there's a lot of brands that try very, very hard. Then it breaks that and it becomes unauthentic, and that's where you get to lose. But as long as you listen, you should be fine.
Yeah, I would also say, just really echoing what you were all saying on the panel. authenticity matters a lot. Don't focus on the big moments. I mean, you can, right? There's big tentpole moments that matter, but really focus on the moments that matter for you. We look at moments through the lens of thematics. So, but marketers always have, fixed moments in time that they need to be thinking about. So, for example, this holiday, Stranger Things is going to be really big. But the big theme behind Stranger Things, why people like it, is coming of age. Is one of the big themes. This summer, Gen Z is really excited about Fantastic Four, and that's all about friendship. And so if you can then be like, okay, well, what's the mindset I'm trying to connect my brand to? Okay, this moment then makes sense for me. Okay, now I can actually be authentic to that because I'm really connecting to fandom and community on a different level.
I think for a brand like Sprite, it's definitely quality over quantity, and it's definitely about the craft of it all. And so trying to fight fandom fatigue, I think it's really just about connecting with your audience in a real way and creating content that serves them and not just serves the brand. I think a lot of times as marketers, we become bored with our own work and don't stay with something for too long. And so one of the things, it's new to our consumers and they're just getting to know it or getting to like it, what have you. And so a lot of our competitors are in and out of the market. And I think one of the things, and our agencies do a really good job, majority, JL&Y, is it's really about the storytelling and really making sure that the insights are strong. So long story short, quality over quantity.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
Any last sentiments before we close out? Anybody?
I mean, she just, yeah. What was that saying from Ricky Bobby? You nailed that like a split.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Honestly, quality, please, quality. Like, everyone's just like, how do I stop the doom scroll? Put something on there that makes them stop. Like, what the, damn. And here's the problem. LinkedIn, for a little bit of a moment there, I'm sorry for everybody here that did it, and I'm probably going to offend all of you that put up a fucking, Chat GPT toy version of yourself on LinkedIn. I get it. It's an easy escape. It's a whatever. But it was also like a way to tell people that you're a trend jumper. That was exciting to you, when to a lot of us it was just like, it's cheap. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's cheap. Do something that nobody else is doing. Not that everybody and their moms are doing. Do the thing that nobody did. Yeah. And that's the mentality, I feel like. Craft. You said it. Craft. Make something. It sucks that we're in an industry right now that tries its damnedest to make as little as it can. And so what you said right now just kind of filled my soul. I got some nice soup, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say that ad spend is not going to get you there. No matter how much you spend, you got to put culture at the foundation of your strategy. Once you do that, you'll see change in your brands.
Excellent.
Yeah, I would just say, lean into fandom. I actually don't think there's enough brands that are prioritizing fandom as a strategy. I like what you did there. Yeah. It was not intentional.
Pun intended.
Okay. It was not intentional. It was not intentional. I am a sales guy, but I was not trying to sell. Okay. Every brand really does need to be leaning into culture and community. Most, especially Gen Z, they actually favor brands who lean into fandom. And so it might sound hard, it actually isn't. But I think only focusing on, the traditional forms of marketing, I think you're going to see way more success like what you've done by leaning into community and fandom.
Thank you so much, everybody. This was
Thank you.
fantastic. Let's go cool off.